The house had been empty for 19 years. No lights. No footprints. No voices left to echo. Only one thing had ever stayed awake inside it. The locked door at the end of the upstairs hallway. People in the village said the old man who lived there used to talk to that door. As if something behind it whispered back. When neighbors last saw him, he was standing in that hallway trembling, his hand hovering inches from the knob, whispering, "Just stop looking at me, then I can come out." Nobody understood what he meant. 2 days later he vanished. The house stayed untouched. His family refused to enter it. Everyone else stayed far away from it. But 19 years later, 3 cousins, Evan, Mia, and Tyler, arrived for the weekend. They only came to clean the property, take pictures, and maybe laugh about the haunted rumors. But the house was not waiting for laughter. The moment the cousins stepped inside, the door upstairs, the one that should have been impossible to open, moved. Not much. Not enough for the human eye to catch. But the camera on Evan's phone did. A slight, unnatural shift, as if the door inhaled. They didn't see it, but something behind that door saw them. And it waited, patiently. Because the door had only one rule. It opens only when you aren't looking at it. When you blink. When you turn your head. When you look away for 1 second. That night, the cousins would test that rule without knowing. The first time, Evan simply rubbed his eyes. And the door opened by an inch. The second time, Mia looked over her shoulder. And the door opened wide enough for a shadow to slip out. And the third time, Tyler blinked just once. And saw a pale hand retreat silently behind the doorframe. But the true horror came later when they looked inside that room. Because the door didn't hide a ghost or a spirit or a monster. It hid 3 copies, perfect replicas of the cousins, standing still side by side. Eyes opened too wide. Skin color drained like wet paper. Their lips stretched into a thin, unnatural smile. The copies didn't move. Not at first. Not until the cousins had already turned away. Because inside this house there was one more rule. Every time the originals looked away, the copies became more alive. And the real cousins became weaker. By sunrise, only one truth would remain. Not everyone who leaves this house is real. The sun was already sinking when Evan parked the car in front of the old house. The place looked older than he remembered, wood darkened by years of rain, windows clouded with dust, and vines hugging the porch like fingers refusing to let go. The house belonged to their grandfather, but none of the cousins had seen him since they were 10. He disappeared, and the family avoided the house ever since. Evan turned off the engine and exhaled. Mia tapped her nails on the window, staring at the house with a strange discomfort. Tyler sat in the back seat, unusually quiet. The 3 cousins came because of a simple plan. Clean the property for sale, take photos for the realtor, stay for 1 weekend, then leave. Easy. Normal. But nothing about the house felt normal. When they stepped out, the air felt heavier, as if the house exhaled a breath it had been holding for years. Evan picked up their bags, Mia stretched her arms, and Tyler shot a video on his phone. "Just to show Mom we survived," he joked. But his laugh sounded thinner than usual. The front door didn't need a key. It opened with a soft push, releasing a smell of damp wood and old paper. Dust floated like tiny ghosts in the fading light. Inside, the floorboards creaked even when no one stepped on them. The wallpaper peeled in long, curling strips. A staircase stood directly ahead, leading to a dark hallway on the upper floor. Tyler aimed his phone up at the stairs. "Creepy house tour," he narrated. "If I disappear, blame Mia?" Mia shoved him lightly, but her eyes stayed locked on the staircase. It wasn't the darkness that bothered her, it was something else. Something waiting. They moved room to room downstairs, inspecting old furniture covered with sheets, empty picture frames, and strange piles of salt on some windowsills. None of them mentioned the salt. None of them wanted to ask why it was there. The house felt like it had been abandoned suddenly, not slowly. Like their grandfather left in the middle of breathing. Upstairs, the hallway stretched long and straight. 5 doors, 4 bedrooms and 1 storage room. But the last door at the very end looked different. It was heavier, darker, with a brass knob that seemed untouched by time. Evan noticed it first. "That one looks locked," he said. They walked toward it slowly. The closer they got, the colder the air became. Mia rubbed her arms, her skin rising with goosebumps. Tyler grabbed the knob and twisted. It didn't even shake. "Yeah, locked," he sighed. He leaned close and whispered, "Hello? Any ghosts in there?" Mia smacked his arm. "Stop it." But behind the locked door, something shifted. Very softly. Like a person moving their feet an inch. Evan froze. "Did you hear that?" Tyler pulled his hand back. "Old houses make noise." But the noise wasn't like any old house creak. It was quiet, intentional, almost responding. They tried opening it again, but the door refused. Evan shrugged. We'll get a crowbar tomorrow. They headed to the master bedroom to drop their bags. The sky outside had darkened, turning the windows into mirrors. Every reflection looked slightly delayed, as if the mirrors were remembering the images before copying them. Tyler set his camera down on the dresser. Mia ran her fingers over the old furniture. Evan opened the curtains. And that's when it happened. A small, sharp click echoed from the hallway. They all turned toward the sound. Was that the front door? Tyler asked. No, Evan whispered. It came from upstairs. They listened. Nothing. Then Evan stepped out into the hallway. He walked slowly, his socks nearly silent on the wooden floorboards. Mia and Tyler followed close behind. At the end of the hallway, the locked door stood exactly where they left it. Except, the knob was turned slightly. Not much. Just enough that it was no longer centered. Mia covered her mouth. Evan, did you touch it after us? No. Tyler swallowed hard. Okay, maybe the house isn't settling, maybe it's stretching. Evan kneeled, staring at the knob. He whispered, it moved. Tyler frowned. But nobody touched. Evan blinked. Just once. And the door opened a tiny amount. An inch. No sound. No pressure. It simply shifted. Mia grabbed Tyler's arm. Did you see that? Evan backed away slowly. It opened when I blinked. Tyler forced a laugh, but his voice cracked. You blinked twice before, maybe it was already like that. No, Mia said quietly. Something is inside. Tyler picked up his camera with trembling hands. Let's film it. If anything weird happens again, we need proof. Evan moved backward, never taking his eyes off the door. He didn't know it yet. But the moment he blinked again, the thing inside that room moved too. And it wasn't alone. Evan didn't want to take his eyes off the door, not after what he saw. The tiny opening, the unnatural shift, the absolute silence behind it. Everything felt wrong. Not ghost wrong. Not human wrong. Something else. Tyler held his camera up, recording the hallway with shaky hands. Okay, let's just watch it for a second, he said. Mia wrapped her arms around herself. Why watch it? Why not leave? Right now. Evan shook his head. We need to understand what we're dealing with. But even he didn't believe his own words. The three stood still, staring at the door. The house was silent, all the usual sounds missing. No ticking clock. No settling wood. No wind. Only their breathing. Tyler zoomed in on the crack of the door. Maybe someone broke in here years ago? Maybe an animal? No animal opens a door in complete silence, Mia whispered. A full minute passed. The door didn't move. Evan blinked again, intentionally this time. Nothing happened. He blinked twice, slowly, deliberately. Still nothing. Tyler lowered the camera slightly. Maybe it was our imagination. Then Mia gasped. Stop. Tyler, don't move. He froze. What? Mia reached forward and gently pushed his camera upward. The camera screen showed something none of them felt in the air. The door was moving. Very slowly. Opening wider, only on the camera. But when they lifted their eyes to the real door, it was still. Tyler's voice shook. Why is the camera seeing something we can't? Evan swallowed. Record everything. Do not stop. Mia backed away down the hall. I don't like this. I don't. Then something changed. A sound slipped through the crack in the door. Not a creak. Not breath. Tap, tap, tap. Soft. Rhythmic. Like fingernails gently tapping on wood from the inside. Tyler's face lost its color. Is someone knocking? No, Evan whispered. It's feeling. Testing. Mia's eyes filled with tears. Can we please leave this hallway? They backed up toward the master bedroom. But even as they stepped away, they kept their eyes on the door. That's when it happened again. Evan blinked. Just once. The door jerked open another inch. But this time, the movement was visible to all of them, not just the camera. Tyler stumbled backward, nearly dropping the phone. Okay, nope, no. This house is alive. Stop talking, Evan hissed. Just watch. They stared at the growing gap. Shadows stacked inside the room, layers of darkness pressed behind the opening like folded fabric. Nothing moved, yet the blackness felt occupied, aware. Mia whispered, what if someone's standing right behind it? Tyler shook his head violently. I'm not opening that door wider. You don't have to, Evan said. It opens when your eyes stop watching. Mia's breath hitched. You're saying, the door reacts to our vision? Not the door, Evan corrected softly. Something behind it. Tyler grabbed 2 flashlights from the master bedroom drawer. Okay, new plan. We take turns watching, nobody blinks. That's impossible, Mia said. But Tyler had already pointed the flashlights at the door. Both beams hit the wood, and that's when they noticed something they hadn't before. Fingerprints. Hundreds. All over the door. Not normal fingerprints. They were long, smudged, almost streaked upward, as if something tried to push the door open from the inside for years. Mia stepped back until her shoulders hit the wall. Why are they all pointing outward? Evan stepped forward slowly, shining his light across the walls near the doorframe. More prints. All around. Like hands had been dragging along the walls, quietly, patiently. Tyler whispered, "What the hell lived here?" Evan didn't answer. He followed the prints to the floor. They stopped right before the door. None continued out into the hallway. They never got out, he said. Mia shook her head. Let's go back downstairs. Please. They hurried down, barely watching their own steps. The downstairs felt a little safer, but only compared to the hallway above. Evan paced the living room. Tyler checked his camera footage again and again, replaying the moment the door opened. Mia sat on the couch, staring at nothing. This house is wrong. Grandpa didn't leave, he ran. Tyler paused the footage. Guys, I found something. Evan leaned over him. What? Tyler zoomed in on one frame, the moment the door opened the first inch. Behind the door, hidden in darkness, barely visible. A pale cheek. An eye. A human-looking face. Watching them. Mia screamed and covered her mouth. Is that? No. Evan grabbed the phone closer. The face was shaped like a person but not fully right. Too smooth. Too expressionless. Eyes wide open. Staring. Tyler whispered, "It looks like me." Evan looked at him sharply. What? Tyler's voice cracked. I'm serious. Look at the jawline. The nose. Even the hair shape. It looks like a pale version of me standing in that room. Mia stood up slowly. Why would there be a copy of you in the house? But neither of them had time to answer. Because upstairs, a soft, deliberate sound echoed again. The door opened another inch. This time, none of them blinked. And that meant only one thing. Something inside was pushing. The sound of the door shifting echoed through the house like a cold breath. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just enough to prove one thing. The thing inside wasn't waiting anymore. It wanted out. Tyler grabbed the back of the couch as if the house tilted beneath him. Mia stood frozen beside the staircase, staring upward as though expecting the shadows to crawl down. Evan, breathing fast but steady, whispered, "It didn't open because we blinked. None of us blinked." Tyler nodded slowly. Yeah, so how did? It opened, Mia whispered, because it wanted to. Silence. Thick. Heavy. As if the house was listening. Evan motioned toward the kitchen. We regroup. Think clearly. No more hallway. Not yet. They gathered around the old wooden table, placing Tyler's phone in the center as if it were a sacred artifact. The frozen image of the pale face stared up at them, silent, accusing. Mia hugged herself tightly. That thing is not human. It's shaped like us, Evan said. Tyler's throat tightened. Shaped like me. Evan sat across from him. Tyler, look at me. Whatever is in that room, copies us, or mimics us, or replaces. Mia whispered. No one spoke after that word. Even saying it felt dangerous. Evan rubbed his forehead. We need a plan. Before they could form one, the lights flickered. Just once. Like the house blinking. Mia's breathing hitched. No, please don't start with the electricity. The lights steadied. But the air didn't. The temperature dropped. Not gradually. Instantly. As if the house inhaled the warmth. Tyler's breath turned faintly white. Why is it freezing? Evan stared upward. It's coming from the hallway. Mia shook her head violently. We're not going back up there. But the house seemed to disagree. Because the next sound came from the staircase. A soft, slow step. 1 foot. Then another. Tyler clutched Evan's arm. Something's walking out. Evan stood up carefully. No, listen. Step. But the rhythm was off. Almost like it was mimicking walking, not actually walking. Mia covered her ears. I don't want to hear this. I don't want. Shoo, Evan said softly. Another step. But when he leaned forward to peek toward the stairs, something unexpected happened. The sound stopped immediately. Not faded. Not slowed. Just cut. Like something hit pause the moment he tried to see it. Evan stepped back. The sound resumed. Step, step, step. Repeating the same pattern. The same timing. Like a loop. Mia understood first. It's pretending to walk. Tyler whispered, why? Evan looked at the ceiling, voice low and tight. To make us look away from the door. The three froze. Because if the thing was creating distractions, then the door was probably opening right now. Tyler raised the phone with shaking hands. He turned the camera toward the upstairs landing, zooming in on the dark hallway. The door was already open wider than before. Not dramatically. Not wildly. Just enough to show a slightly larger sliver of the room. Enough to reveal more shapes. Mia's knees buckled. Evan, there's more than one. Tyler zoomed further. Standing inside the darkness were three shapes. Three human-like silhouettes. All facing the door. All unnaturally still. Evan's voice trembled. The copies. Tyler's face drained of all color. That tallest one, that's me. That's my height. Mia scanned the shapes. The smallest is me. Evan swallowed hard. And the middle one is me. They weren't ghosts. Or illusions. Or reflections. They were perfect outlines of the three cousins. Same height, same posture. Standing behind that door, frozen like mannequins. Tyler zoomed more. That was when they saw something worse than the shapes. Their eyes. Open. Wide. Too wide. Glassy. Blank. As if carved. Mia forced herself to breathe. They're watching us. Evan shook his head. No, they're waiting. They only move when we stop watching, Mia finished. Tyler whispered, then we don't stop. But even as he said it, the lights flickered again. 3 short flickers. Blink, blink, blink. The house itself was trying to force them to look away. Mia backed up toward the front door. We're leaving. I don't care about the house. I don't care what's inside. She grabbed the handle. It didn't turn. Evan rushed to help. He twisted, pushed, pulled. Nothing. It's stuck, he said. No, Mia whispered. It's locked from the inside. Tyler turned slowly toward the stairs. If the house is locking us in. Evan finished his sentence, voice hollow. That means the things in the room don't want us to leave. Suddenly the house creaked. Not random creaking. Not old wood groaning. It came from above them, directly over the hallway where the locked room sat. A heavy, deliberate shift. As if all 3 figures inside the room had taken a quiet step forward. Mia began crying silently. Evan, they're getting closer. Evan forced himself to stay steady. We need to go to the car. Break a window if we have to. Tyler nodded. Grab the keys. Now. Evan reached into his pocket. Empty. He froze. Tyler asked, where are the keys? I had them when we came in, Evan said. Mia choked. Don't say it. Please don't. But they all knew. The only place keys could disappear inside a locked house was behind that half-open door. The copies had them. And they were coming. Evan's pocket felt impossibly light. Too light. The keys were gone. For a moment, none of them spoke. The house felt like it was holding its breath again, waiting to see what they would do. Tyler finally whispered, they took them, didn't they? Evan didn't answer. He didn't need to. He looked toward the stairs, toward the dark hallway above. His jaw tightened. Mia grabbed his arm. No. Please don't even think about going up there. We don't have a choice, Evan said quietly. Without the keys we can't get out. The windows are barred, remember? Grandpa put security grills on all of them. Tyler nodded slowly. Yeah. I saw the metal rods. Every window. Even the bathroom ones. Mia backed away. Then we break them. Evan shook his head. From the inside? With what? The chairs will shatter before the metal moves. The truth settled on them like a weight. They were trapped. Not by the door. Not by the house. By the things inside it. Tyler lifted his camera again. Okay. We go together. No one blinks. No one turns their back. Mia hissed. Tyler, the moment you blink that door will open wider. Those things, those copies will move. Evan steadied his breath. That's why we go slowly. Step by step. Eyes open. No sudden movements. Mia looked from one cousin to the other. Are you both insane? You want to walk to the door that opens by itself? Toward things that look like you? Toward things that move when you aren't looking? Evan squeezed her shoulder. Mia, you said it yourself. Grandpa ran from this house. Something happened to him. Now, it's happening to us. We have to understand it before it understands us. Tyler added softly, "If we don't get those keys, we die here." Mia trembled, but she didn't argue again. They moved toward the stairs, flashlights shaking in their hands. Every step felt heavier, as though the air itself resisted their movement. Halfway up they heard it. A breath. Soft. Shallow. Not theirs. Tyler whispered, "Where's that coming from?" Evan raised his light. The hallway at the top stretched long and silent. The locked room, now cracked wider than ever, sat at the very end like a hungry mouth waiting for them to walk closer. Mia held her breath as they reached the top step. Don't look away. Don't even blink." Tyler turned his camera toward the door. To their horror, it was open even more now, 3 full inches. Enough to see the edge of a wooden table inside. Enough to see shadows bending unnaturally. Enough to see movement. Not full movement. Just the slight sway of a head. A shift, like a mannequin reacting to a distant vibration. Evan whispered, "We stop here. We assess." Tyler zoomed inland. His voice cracked. "Guys, the copies, they're closer to the door than before." Mia shook her head. "I can't do this. I can't." Evan held her hand tightly. "You can. Look at me. We stay together." They stared into the room through the crack. The shapes were unmistakable now, 3 pale figures each standing exactly like them. So silent. Evan's copy stood in the middle, eyes open, blank as if carved from wax. But something was different now. Its head was tilted. Not centered. Tilted slightly toward the door. Toward them. Tyler zoomed further into the room. "Evan, look." Evan swallowed hard. On the wooden table inside the room sat a small metal object. The keys. Mia felt her legs weaken. No, they're baiting us." Tyler whispered, "Or they're learning from us. Copying our behavior." Evan leaned slightly forward, keeping his eyes locked on the 3 figures. "We need to think. They move when we don't look. So if we approach the door, we die," Mia said instantly. Tyler shook his head. "Not if we do it smart. We need a mirror. Something reflective. If we can walk backward while watching them through a mirror." Evan cut him off. "We'd still need to get close enough to grab the keys." The problem was simple. To reach the table, they'd have to be within 2 feet of the copies. Mia took a shaky breath. What if they don't touch us? What if they just watch? Evan stared at her. "Mia, they want to replace us. They're not curious. They're preparing." Tyler checked his camera. "Wait, guys, there's something wrong with the footage." "What now?" Mia whispered. Tyler zoomed in on the reflection in the dark room. It showed the 3 pale copies. But they were not just standing. In the reflection, their mouths were slightly open, smiling. But in the real view, their mouths were closed. Mia stepped back, gripping the wall. Why are they different in the reflection?" Evan's voice turned hollow. "Because they're alive in ways we can't see." Tyler lowered the camera just a little. Not completely. Just enough for his real eyes to meet the crack in the door directly. He froze. Mia saw his face change. "Tyler, what happened?" Tyler spoke without blinking. "My copy. It moves when only I blink." Evan turned sharply. "What?" Tyler explained in a shaking whisper. "When I blinked downstairs, the door opened. When Evan blinked, the knob turned. When Mia looked away, the shadows shifted." Mia gasped. "They're tied to us individually." Evan's heartbeat thundered in his ears. "That means if we get too close." Tyler whispered the ending. "Our copies won't just move. They'll try to replace us." The air went still. Silent. Watching. Then, from inside the dark room, something exhaled. Long. Slow. Human. And the door opened another ink. The exhale drifted out of the dark room like a cold fog, brushing against their skin, raising every hair on their bodies. Mia covered her mouth to stop a scream from slipping out. Tyler whispered, "That wasn't any of us." Evan's pulse hammered against his ribs. "No. It came from inside. One of them just breathed." Mia clutched his arm. "We have to get out of this hallway. Now." But the house disagreed. Because at that exact moment, all the lights in the hallway went out. Not flickered. Not dimmed. They snapped into darkness like someone had cut a wire. Mia's scream stayed trapped in her throat. Tyler's hand fumbled for his flashlight, clicking it on with frantic taps. The beam shook wildly, bouncing across the hallway, catching bits of wall, ceiling, shadows. Then it landed on the door. Open. Wider. Much wider. At least a full foot now, revealing the shape of the table, the edge of the wooden floor, the lower halves of the 3 figures' legs. Mia whispered, trembling, We didn't blink. We didn't blink. Evan's voice broke. Someone did. Tyler's light jerked downward to Mia's face. Her eyes were wet. What? But her lashes were parted. A single tear slid down her cheek. She had blinked. And the door punished her for it. Tyler's voice trembled. It reacts instantly to the one it belongs to. Don't look at the door, Evan said with a shaking breath. Look at each other. Keep your eyes open. But Ty was staring past them at their reflections in a picture frame on the wall. His voice cracked. Guys, turn around. Slowly. Do not blink. Evan and Mia turned. The picture frame, an old family photo still hanging crooked on the wall, had a reflective glass surface. In that reflection, the dark room door looked even more open. And behind the door, in the reflection only, one of the copies had moved. It stood closer to the frame. Shoulders shifted. Head tilted at an angle too precise to be natural. Face expressionless, lips nearly stretched into a silent grin. Evan swallowed hard. Which one is it? Tyler's voice was barely audible. Mine. Mia's knees threatened to give out. Tyler, don't blink. Don't even breathe. Tyler kept staring. His lips trembled uncontrollably. I feel dizzy. Evan grabbed his arm. Stay with us. Don't break focus. Suddenly, Tyler swayed. A wave of weakness washed through him. His skin paled. His breathing hitched. Ty. Mia cried. What's happening? Tyler's voice was strangled. I feel like something's pulling energy out of me. Evan's mind raced. The pieces clicked. They get stronger when they move. And when they move, we get weaker. Mia grabbed Tyler's face with both hands. Look at me. Tyler, focus on me. But Tyler wasn't focused on her. His gaze drifted over her head toward the reflection again. Then his pupils widened with horror. He whispered, It's right behind you. Mia spun around. Nothing. But Tyler wasn't lying. The reflection showed the truth. His copy, the pale, blank version of him, was no longer inside the room. Not fully. In the reflection, its hand reached past the door frame. A white, waxy hand with fingers longer than normal, pulling itself outward inch by inch. Mia screamed. Evan dragged Tyler backward. The real hallway remained empty, but the reflection showed the copy nearly out of the room. Evan shouted, It's moving in the reflection before the real world. The reflection shows what's about to happen. Mia gasped. So that means... Before she finished, a sound cut through the hallway. Knuckles. Scraping gently along the wooden floor. Growing closer. Tyler cried out. It's crawling, it's crawling. Evan spun his flashlight to the door. Just in time. Because the pale hand in the reflection had now appeared in the real world. Fingers curled around the edge of the door frame. Slow. Silent. Deliberate. Mia's voice trembled. Tyler, your copy is coming out. Tyler couldn't breathe. Make it stop, make it stop. Evan pulled both of them toward the stairs. We're leaving the hallway now. But the moment they turned, the house blinked. Every light flashed once like a camera taking a photo. And in that millisecond, the copy moved. When the light steadied again, the pale figure stood halfway out of the room. Its head tilted. Its blank eyes staring straight at them. Its mouth stretched open. Too wide. Too stretched. Too human and not human at all. Tyler collapsed onto the stairs, panting, grabbing his chest. Mia knelt beside him. Ty, stay with us. Evan didn't dare look away from the copy. His voice was a whisper full of dread. Tyler, I think it's draining you. The more it comes out, the weaker you get. Tyler trembled so violently his teeth chattered. I can't feel my fingers. I can't. The copy took one slow step forward. Silent. Smooth. Exact. Evan's voice cracked. We have to break the connection. We have to escape that hallway. Mia looked at him. But the keys? Evan's eyes stayed locked on the advancing figure. We don't need the keys anymore. Mia blinked. Then how do we get out? Evan whispered. We break the door. The front door. We break it open with anything we can find. Tyler's head dropped forward. His voice was faint. Barely alive. Run. Before it reaches me. The copy took another step. Now only 10 feet away. The copy stood 10 feet away, its pale foot pointed slightly inward, as if it hadn't learned how to walk like a real person yet. Its face was blank. No anger, no emotion. Just that stretched, unnatural almost smile that looked carved into its skin. Tyler tried to push himself up the stairs but collapsed. His limbs felt heavy, drained, as if invisible hands were pulling strength straight out of him. "Evan," he whispered weakly, I can't move." Mia pulled him close, panic filling her eyes. "Please don't let that thing touch him. Please, Evan." Evan stepped between the copy and the others, gripping the flashlight like a weapon. "Don't look away from it," he said. "Whatever you do, don't look away." The copy tilted its head even further, a snapping sound echoing from its neck as if bones were shifting inside. Then it moved. Not like a person. Not like anything with joints. It glided forward. Softly. Smoothly. Like it had practiced walking by watching humans, but never got it quite right. Mia's breathing turned sharp. "It's getting faster. Evan, go." Evan grabbed Tyler under one arm and Mia pulled from the other. Together they dragged him down the stairs. Tyler felt weightless, almost limp. Behind them, the copy took another step, and the house made a sound. A low groan. Like wood bending under pressure. Like something waking up. Evan didn't want to look back, but he had to. The copy was on the upper step now. 10 feet had become 5. Then 3. Tyler gasped. "It's matching me. It moves more. Every second I get weaker." Evan understood. The copies were like reflections that gained strength as the originals lost it. He looked back up the stairs, and the copy took a sudden step forward, closing the distance by half. Evan choked. "It's accelerating." Mia screamed, "Run." They half-dragged, half-carried Tyler into the living room. Mia slammed the door behind them, not that a thin wooden door would stop anything like that, but fear made her do it anyway. Evan laid Tyler on the rug. Tyler's lips were pale, trembling. "I'm cold." Mia grabbed his hands. "Stay awake. Don't close your eyes. Please." Then, boom. Something hit the door. Not violently, but firmly. A test hit. As if the copy pushed it with curiosity, wondering what resistance felt like. Evan backed away. "It's learning how to follow us." Tyler whispered, "Don't let it touch me. Don't let it." Crack. The wooden frame split at the hinge. Mia screamed. "Evan, that door isn't going to hold." Evan's eyes darted across the room, searching for anything that could help them escape. His gaze landed on the fireplace tools, a heavy iron poker. He grabbed it. "We break the front door. If it's locked, we smash the hinges." Mia nodded frantically. Yes, let's go." But when they reached the foyer, the front door had changed. It wasn't locked. It was swollen. The wood bulged outward as if the structure of the door had grown thicker, heavier, more solid. The frame squeezed tightly around the edges, warping the shape. Mia stared in disbelief. "The house, it's closing us in." Evan shoved the poker into the gap and pushed with all his strength. The wood didn't budge. Not an inch. Behind them, the living room door slowly opened. Without a sound. As if a pale hand had pushed it gently. Mia turned her head. Her voice cracked. "Evan, it's inside." The copy stepped into the hallway. Full body exposed now. Its limbs hung too straight. Its neck tilted too far. Its mouth stretched into a shape a human mouth shouldn't make. It stood there, staring at Tyler, head twitching like it was trying to imitate curiosity. Tyler let out a strangled sob. "It wants to replace me." The copy took one step. Then another. Not gliding now. Walking. Learning. Mia grabbed Tyler's shoulders. "We have to move him. Evan, help." But the house had another idea. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then the reflection in the glass cabinet beside them shifted. In the reflection, the copy wasn't standing still. It was sprinting toward them. "Move!" Evan shouted. They pulled Tyler away just as the real copy lunged forward. Its hand slammed into the wall beside them, leaving a long smear across the wallpaper. Not blood. Not dirt. A pale powder-like residue. Like the dust of something not fully formed. Mia gagged. "Oh God, oh God." The copy jerked its head sideways as if confused why it didn't catch Tyler. Then it looked directly at them. Evan held the iron poker forward. "Stay back." The copy didn't react to the weapon. It reacted to Tyler's breathing, turning its head toward the sound like a predator. Then a soft click echoed through the house. From upstairs. Mia whispered, "Another door," opened. Evan froze. The locked room upstairs wasn't the only thing alive now. Something else was waking. Something that belonged to Mia. And something that belonged to him. Tyler's copy wasn't alone anymore. The house trembled lightly. The kind of gentle shudder a living creature makes when it stretches. Evan whispered, "This house wants all three of us." The copy crouched low, ready to move again. and the lights went out. The moment the lights cut out, the house fell into a darkness so complete it felt solid, thick enough to choke on. Mia grabbed blindly for Evan's shirt. Tyler let out a weak gasp, collapsing back onto the floor. Evan fumbled for his flashlight with shaking hands. Click. Nothing. Click click. Still nothing. Mia? Evan breathed. Tyler? Stay close. Don't move. Mia gripped Tyler's hand so hard her knuckles cracked. Evan, it's too dark. I can't see anything. Then something moved in the dark. Not footsteps. Not crawling. Something smoother. A whisper of fabric sliding over wood. A body gliding more than walking. Evan held his breath. A soft voice, Tyler's voice but not Tyler's, echoed from the darkness ahead. Why, are you running? Mia screamed and clutched Tyler tighter. That's not him. Evan, that's not him. Evan finally smacked the flashlight against his palm, and the beam snapped on. The light hit the hallway. He wished it hadn't. Tyler's copy stood 10 feet away, half crouched like an animal mimicking a human pose. Its head twitched erratically, mouth open in a grotesque half-smile. Its fingertips touched the floor, leaving streaks of white residue. But Tyler's copy was no longer alone. Behind it, shadows stretched across the walls like silhouettes standing tall. Shapes forming. Solidifying. 2 more stepped forward. Evan choked on his breath. His copy. Mia's copy. Still. Expressionless. But their eyes, oh God, their eyes, were wet now. Reflective. Alive. Mia collapsed to her knees. No, it's us. It's us. Why are they smiling? The 3 copies stood side by side, forming a perfect mirror line of their human originals. Same height. Same posture. Same hair outlines. Except something inside them pulsed like soft breathing beneath wax skin. Evan whispered, voice trembling, they're almost fully alive. Tyler's copy tilted its head back, joints cracking loudly. Then it stepped forward, copying the motion Evan made earlier when he stepped toward the front door. Perfectly. Mia's copy mimicked her kneeling position. Slowly. Fluidly. Like it was studying her. Learning her shape. Evan felt goosebumps crawl across his entire body when his copy took the exact stance he was in. Flashlight held the same way, shoulders angled identically. They're sinking with us, he whispered. The more we panic, the more they understand us. Tyler coughed softly and whispered, I don't feel my legs. Evan turned the flashlight on him. Tyler's skin had gone nearly translucent. Veins showed faintly. His lips were gray. He looked like something draining from the inside out. Mia started crying. No, Tyler, stay with us. Please stay awake. Another sound came from upstairs. Creaky. Evan looked up the staircase. The door to the locked room, the place where the copies first appeared, was now open completely. Inside it, nothing remained. No table. No shadows. It was empty. Because the copies were no longer there. They were right here. Tyler's copy took another step forward. Mia's copy followed. Evan's copy matched his breathing. Then the house shifted again. This time it wasn't subtle. The walls groaned. The floor trembled. The photographs on the walls tilted all at once, like many eyes blinking together. Mia's voice cracked. It's alive. The whole house is alive. Evan suddenly understood something in a way he didn't want to. This isn't a haunting, he whispered. It's a cycle. Mia frowned through tears. What cycle? Evan pointed his flashlight at the cracked wallpaper. Symbols, carved deep, hidden under layers of paint and dust, formed a ring around the hallway. Old markings. Repeating. Circular. A pattern. The house takes 3, Evan said softly. It replaces them. Then it waits for the next 3. Tyler wheezed, we shouldn't have come? Evan pulled him close. No. We're leaving. We're not letting them finish this. But the copies took another synchronized step. Then, one by one they opened their mouths. Not to speak. To breathe. A long, slow inhale. And as they inhaled, Tyler's chest caved inward slightly. Mia screamed. They're breathing in his air. Evan swung the iron poker, but the copy didn't flinch. It didn't need to. They didn't move unless they wanted to. The house flickered its lights like a heartbeat. The air filled with a low vibrating hum. The floorboards twisted under their feet. The house was encouraging the replacements. Fueling them. Strengthening them. Evan grabbed Tyler, forcing him upright. Mia, get the window. Smash it. Smash anything. Mia ran to the nearest window and slammed a chair into it. Crack. The chair splintered. The metal bars didn't move. Behind her, her copy tilted its head to match hers. Perfect mirror mimic. Mia dropped the broken wood, hands shaking uncontrollably. It knows everything I do. Evan looked at his copy. It now stood only 6 feet away. Then 5. Then 4. Each blink of the dying lights brought it closer. Evan whispered, "It's going to replace me next." Tyler's voice rattled out, faint and nearly gone. "Evan, don't let him touch you." The copies took one more unified step. And the house exhaled. A cold wind pushed through the hallway, brushing past their skin, whispering through their ears like voices layered over one another. "Look away." The copies leaned forward. Their arms extended. The replacements were ready. To take their lives. To take their place. To walk out of the house wearing their faces. Evan held Mia's hand. He held Tyler's. And whispered, "This is the final step. If we look away, we're gone." Behind the copies, deeper in the house, a final door creaked open, and something else stepped forward. The final door that opened wasn't upstairs. It wasn't even in the hallway. It came from the back of the house, the basement door. A deep, old hinge groaned through the silence, echoing like something ancient waking from sleep. Evan's heart slammed against his ribs. Mia whispered, trembling, What else is coming?" Tyler's voice was barely audible. Something older. The basement door creaked wider and a cold wind rushed into the room. Not a natural cold. A dead cold. The 3 copies in front of them did not turn toward the sound. They didn't fear it. They served it. They stepped closer. 4 feet. 3. 2. Evan raised the iron poker, but the metal sagged in his hands like soft clay. The house was changing it. Disabling every option they had left. His copy took another step and tilted its head to the same angle as Evan's. Its cheek flexed. Its fingers stretched unnaturally long. Mia looked at her own copy, her voice cracking with hysteria. "It looks excited. Why is it smiling like that? Why does it look happy?" Her copy's eyes widened in response, mirroring her fear, but twisted, exaggerated, as if emotions were a costume it didn't know how to wear properly. Evan stepped in front of Mia and Tyler, blocking them with his body. "Mia, when I say run, you drag Tyler. Don't argue. Don't look back." Mia cried harder. "Evan, there's nowhere to run." He didn't respond. He knew she was right. Tyler's copy took the final step. Now only inches away. Tyler let out a sharp gasp. Something invisible snapped inside him. His head dropped. His eyes fluttered. His skin turned cold under Mia's hands. "Tyler. Tyler, wake up," she screamed, shaking him. But Tyler didn't wake. And that's when the room changed. A suddenly bright, white light filled the space. Not from the ceiling, not from a lamp. It came from Tyler's copy. The glow seeped through its waxy skin, as if something inside it was being activated. The copy leaned forward and placed its hand on Tyler's chest. Mia shrieked, trying to pull it away, but it didn't even acknowledge her. Instead, its fingers sank gently into Tyler's skin. Not cutting, not breaking. Just pressing as if it were touching warm clay. Tyler's chest rose once. Twice. Then stopped. His copy inhaled deeply. Tyler exhaled, one final time. Then nothing. Evan and Mia froze in horror as the copy's chest began moving. Breathing Tyler's air, Tyler's life, Tyler's rhythm. The copy blinked. A real blink. Not slow. Not mechanical. A human blink. Then, in the most horrifying moment yet, it whispered perfectly. "Evan, Mia, help me." In Tyler's exact voice. Mia screamed at the top of her lungs. "That's not him. That's not him." The copy tilted its head, observing her reaction. Practicing it. Behind them. Evan's copy and Mia's copy stepped forward together. Evan's grip tightened around the useless iron poker. He backed up until his shoulders hit the wall. Mia's voice broke. "My legs. Evan, my legs are numb." Evan looked down. Mia's feet were turning pale. The same pale as her copy. Her fingertips were losing color next. "They're draining us," Evan whispered. "They're taking our strength before they take our place." Mia collapsed to her knees. Her copy crouched instantly, mirroring her like a reflection stepping out of a mirror. The house shook again. The basement door fully opened now. A hollow, rasping breath rose from below. Hungry. Ancient. As if the house itself was breathing in all the panic. Evan understood suddenly. This wasn't just the house feeding the copies. The house needed the replacements to complete something. A cycle. A ritual. A system older than the family who owned it. Evan's copy stepped so close their foreheads almost touched. He stared into the blank, pale face, his own features empty and stolen. Mia struggled to breathe. Tyler's lifeless body lay limp against her shoulder. Evan whispered, "What do you want?" And in a moment that froze every nerve in his body, Evan's copy smiled wider than a human mouth should ever stretch, and answered, "To take your place." The house pulsed. Lights flashed. Evan blinked. Just once. That was enough. His copy moved with lightning precision, its hand slamming onto his chest just like Tyler's copy had done. Evan gasped as all warmth left his body in a single rush. Mia reached out weakly. "Evan? No, Evan." Evan's knees buckled. His vision blurred. His heartbeat slowed. He felt himself slipping. His copy inhaled deeply, and for the first time, it became fully alive. A perfect Evan. Breathing. Standing. Oh. The real Evan collapsed beside Tyler. Mia sobbed uncontrollably, her voice raw. Her copy approached her gently. So gently it almost looked comforting. Mia whispered through tears, "Please, don't." The copy touched her cheek tenderly, a mockery of empathy. Then Mia's scream filled the house. A final, breaking, fading scream. Moments later, Mia's copy stood up, blinking softly, fully human. The three replacements, Evan's copy, Mia's copy, Tyler's copy, looked at each other. Their once blank eyes now full of stolen life. The house fell silent. Satisfied. Hungry but patient. Morning arrived. Three cousins walked out of the old house. Laughing. Talking. Acting like themselves. The neighbors waved politely, thinking nothing was wrong. But the cousins' shadows, just for a moment, lagged half a second behind their bodies, as if remembering how to copy sunlight. The house watched them leave. The real cousins remained inside, cold, still, forgotten. And the locked room? It closed again, waiting for the next three. The cycle was complete, and the replacements walked freely into the world.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Leave us a comment for more stories like this. Your support means the world. Stay tuned for more videos.